All right, so I just realized my mute was on. Welcome everybody to United Latinas to this Cafecito Power Break. I'm excited to be here. Today is Wednesday, August 2nd. Thank you for joining us. Definitely let us know in the chats where you are joining us from. We usually have people from all over the place, internationally as well. So that's exciting. And if you are watching this and you want to be a guest on our cafecito, definitely shoot us an email at hello@unitedlatinas.com. We have a great subject we're going to dive into today. Hopefully, you have your cafecito. Let me know if you have your cafecito, if you have tea, if you have water. What are you drinking for this midday break where we're going to talk about a subject that hopefully helps us keep moving forward? All right, we got Clayton, North Carolina, which I'm in love with the Carolinas, and I don't know why, just the mountainous areas that I always see images of over there. So, welcome, Erica. Yay. So, a couple quick logistics before we get going into this topic. This is going to be a dope topic on scarcity mindset. Um, hola from Orlando. Welcome, Richard. All right, so a couple logistics. We got some upcoming events, guys. If you're interested, number one, we are hosting a public speaking workshop on August 17th. If you are interested in joining that workshop, we have it in our events. You can go ahead and to unitedlatinas.com/events, and you'll see the speaker circle public speaking workshop. I highly recommend that workshop, and it's going to be a series of workshops. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we are all about making sure that we keep practicing and keep having the tools and the skill sets and some activities that we're going to help some Latinas really own that courage to get up on stage or do some cool stuff. All right, so that's gonna be a safe space. So definitely would love for you guys to register for that. It's about speaking confidently up in meetings, talking in front of an audience, whether it's in Zoom or whether it's a live stream, or whether it's on stage, right? Which is ultimately where we want to get more Latinas, right? And then networking, meeting other Latinas. Welcome, Belen from Houston. Haven't seen you in a minute. Yay. I love it. I love it. We got North Carolina, Florida, Texas. Who else? What other state can we get on here? But definitely want, for that workshop, it's about really gaining the skill sets to be more comfortable speaking and sharing what it is that we do. I remember about a decade ago, I was at a networking event. And maybe some of you as business owners or entrepreneurs may feel this. I was at a networking event. They were going around asking everybody what they did. And there was just a sense of nervousness, right? We get this like anxiety. We have to tame that so that we can really go to these things confidently. So that's definitely a workshop. It's on August 17th. August 22nd, we are going to be doing, I'm excited for this workshop, a tapping workshop with Brenda Terry, from limitations to liberation. And if that's also something that can help you with speaking and with just being out there, right? Evolving is really understanding the different points in our bodies that we can use to help release energy, move energy, and all that stuff. We need to keep learning all of these things that are beneficial for us. And then, of course, save the date for October 12th, guys. It is our Be Your Own Conference, Hispanic Heritage Month conference. So make sure that you save the date and you can register. That's already up on Eventbrite. And if you'd like to subscribe to all of our events, guys, I'm going to pop this in the chat. This is our calendar. So you can just add it to your calendar and you'll just see everything that we got going on. So I just popped it in the chat. Okay, I was wondering if it goes out just to one platform or the other, but it looks like it went out to all of them. All right, so now for today's topic, and I would love input from you guys on this, right? It is shifting the scarcity mindset. Why do we have scarcity mindset, right? And how do we shift that? So I was inspired by one of our members who just released a blog article. It's on our United Latinas blog.com, but it inspired me to really talk about this subject out loud, right? We need to have these conversations because when we think about what is a scarcity mindset, right? And per her article, Yoli's article, some members of the Latino community struggle with a scarcity mindset, a psychological state characterized by the belief that resources are limited, that opportunities are scarce, and that success is unattainable. How many of you have felt that? at certain points in your life. I'm sure I have. We definitely have felt points, especially as the only Latina in a corporate environment at one point, feeling like they're not gonna bring to up. Actually, I was the only one in that role, but I used to think that way, like, wow, I'm gonna be the only Latina here, or I'm the only Latina in this table, and there is still a sense of mental scarcity, right? So even though I was at the table, there's that sense of, did I belong there? Did I have the skills to be there? Was like, was that, how did I get there? Right. And the facts of the matter is I was skilled, but my scarcity mindset at that moment made me question if I was even worthy of being at that table. So definitely, I know that there's some people still struggling with that. So we want to keep talking about this so that we can move past it, right? So, how many of you, whether consciously or unconsciously, have felt like there's not enough? There's not enoughness, right? Whether it's not enough opportunity, whether it's not enough money, whether it's not enough something, right? Um, and we want to start really unraveling that and diving deep. So, we're going to talk about some of the points that she put together, and kind of just I kind of just put in my own thoughts on here on how do we shift that thinking? How do we catch ourselves, right? And I think that that is the very first thing, is really becoming aware that you're having that mindset, right? That you're having a limited mindset, right? Yes, Erica, right? It's becoming aware. Sometimes we do things subconsciously, like unconsciously, that we're just like, like the other day, not the other day, but there was one point that I was taking soup from a pan, right? And this is interesting that I'm even going to bring this up, but I thought this in my head. I was taking soup, and not that I wouldn't do it again the same way, but I was taking soup from la olla into a bowl, right? And then with the spoon, as we're used to, right? We scrape and everything, we put in the bowl. And then I caught myself saying to myself, am I having a scarcity mindset? Like, I'm trying to get every little thing of the soup in my bowl. But it's food, granted, I'm a foodie. So, but I still thought that, right? I said to myself, is my need to make sure that every thing is in the bowl. And while I do that still, because I treasure food and I buy, food is expensive and I buy good quality food, so I make sure that I do that anyway. But nonetheless, it doesn't negate the fact that that is a scarcity thinking activity that I was doing subconsciously, right? And we learned that from our parents, just making sure everybody gets fed. So you got to take everything, and then you feed the kids, and you do what you need to do. But every time that I pour myself soup, I always think that thought, is what I'm doing, this activity that I'm trying to get every drop of that soup in my bowl, is that a scarcity mindset? Um, I don't know, just some food for thought, right? But the very first thing is really recognizing, am I thinking less? Am I thinking like, am I trying to do something so that I feel, so that, it was subconsciously, and you don't even realize that it's a scarce mindset. So how do we now address that? Right. So here are some great points that I think were brought up in Jolie's article, right? Number one is the education and awareness, right? Making sure that we are raising awareness to this, making sure that we are supporting one another and helping each other understand, like, you know what, at the end of the day, guys, when we take a step back, we need to realize, okay, there is not a scarcity mindset is a facade in a world of abundance, right? So we need to really, really be educated on why we do the things that we do. What are the habits that we're doing, maybe unconsciously, and how do we start shifting it to say, you know what, this world is an abundant world, right? We need to start shifting that activity and shifting how our mind works. Workshops like the ones we do are always encouraging, that self-awareness aspect. Be introspective, right? Check yourself. That's how I used to always say that years ago, like, check yourself, right? Do Some people are afraid to look inward, and just kind of say, what can I improve about me, or how am I thinking that's not healthy for me, or how am I thinking that's not conducive to the goals that I want to achieve in life? So check yourself, do a self check and say, if am I doing the activities that are abundant activities, that are energetically calling abundance to me, versus am I doing activities that I'm still holding on to this, there's not enoughness in some area, right? So that takes a lot of practice, right? Especially as we've been conditioned, especially in our community, that for one reason or another, it's just that we feel like there's just not enough of anything, right? So we live in that scarcity mindset. But when we start shifting that, we get into that wealth and abundance mindset, which is the next thing. Hello from Vernon, Washington. All right, we got one day we'll represent all 50 states here in the chat. Um, the next one is promoting financial literacy, right? When we think about not enoughness and when we think about scarcity mindset, the main default is finances, right? Why are we thinking in scarcity? How do we now understand finances? How do we now equip ourselves with that knowledge? And how do we really start paving the road towards abundance, right? How do we start now paving that road? How do we learn about these things, right? And it's only now, I mean, in my late 30s and now in my the 40s, mid 40s, it's only now that I'm really getting to understand more of the financial literacy aspect. Yes, I've purchased a home, I've owned cars, I've done a lot of things, but now more so on the longevity, right? Is okay, what can I invest in? And who can I learn from when it comes to investing, and what do I need to learn about retirement, and how do I prepare myself so that knowing that and then taking action steps towards learning and being better at finance and long-term investing, that will build confidence in each of us, right? How much more confident are you when you know you have an account that's got some nice change in there, that you feel like, okay, I now have the luxury to do what I want, how I want it, and I'm comfortable that I got something growing and I got a couple accounts there, right? That builds a sense of confidence, and it shifts for certain that scarcity mindset to think, you know what, this world is abundant. It is. It is abundant. That's not even an argument or conversation to be had. This world is evidently abundant. And, we have been conditioned to think less. So now it's, how do we recondition ourselves, right? That's our job. That's what I believe our job and our responsibility is as adults, is to recondition ourselves to think the way that we want to think so that we can live the way that we want to live. Because only now, not only now, there's been gurus and thought leaders and people from our past and our history that have delved into this knowledge, but it wasn't so necessarily readily available to us, right? To our communities. But only now we're really grasping it on a more widespread level of, you know what, we have those tools, and we were thought to think one way, but it is our responsibility, not anybody else's. We're not here for anybody else to come for praying that things will change. It is our responsibility to make sure that we put the action in, the steps in to change some of those things, right? It is our responsibility. We have to make sure that we are not being complainers and being, oh, woe me, and being, if they had it good, they may have, right? But everyone in this world has something that they're dealing with, right? We're all experiencing being human together, right? We are all experiencing being human together, having the highs and the lows and the ebbs and the flows and the questioning of the, why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I made to do? And how do I do and live the life that I'm supposed to live, right? And I don't think that there is a supposed to live. I think the life that we live is the one that we choose to, with intention, to live, owning the fact that we have the power to be and live abundantly. right? It's our energetically power that has the opportunity to live that way. But many within our culture, like we've just been like, okay, we're good with living off as long as we got our basic needs met, we don't really need much. And I know growing up, it was always like too much money is like looked down on. I don't know if that has ever happened to you, but like like they're this way now because they have money, right? So I think that's also a scarcity mindset, right? When you think others are like, oh, right? If you ever like to somebody that is doing good, you have a scarcity mindset, and it starts with you. It starts with you as opposed to saying, we need to be like, wow, that's amazing that person accomplished that, and wow, that's beautiful, that thing that they got or that whatever, right? But we have to be the ones that are monitoring that language inside of us. Yes, se creen muy, muy, my mom would say. Yes, yes. Right? Why? Right? Why? How did that get instilled in us? Right? That's just that. How did that thinking is just like, they're too good now. They're too good now. They don't, and that's not at all it, right? I think that has warped us to thinking and has inhibited us, right? Because there's been plenty of opportunities to level up in life in many moments. And sometimes it's I'm too scared to go to that next step because the unknown, right? So that mindset, that she's too much, or she's muy muy, right? Like that mindset inhibits us from reaching our growth. That mindset stops us from thinking it's okay to have money. It's okay to live wealthy. It's okay. Sometimes we feel guilty of developing wealth because we're like, and sometimes I'll drive around and I'll be like, ay bendito, to this person. I'm thinking, well, I need to stop. I need to stop thinking in any other way other than everybody in this world, ideally, I don't want to say, ideally has the opportunity to create the life that they want, right? But it is all conditioning with the mindset, right? It's all how we think, the energy that we put out there, that will depict the life that we live. Mhm. So being educated and being and understanding, how do we make money, right? And Yoli did actually a wealth workshop for our members, um, that's available. It brought up so many different ways that we need to look into as a community of how do we learn about index funds? How do we learn about real estate investing? How do we learn about commercial real estate? How do we learn about tax benefits and making sure that we're optimizing our businesses and making sure that we're getting the most tax benefits that we can? We don't know that until we seek that information. That information is not necessarily brought to our community, or it wasn't for our generation growing up, right? Now we're doing that more, and people like Julio are giving back, and we have other members that are in the finance field that are giving back to schools and to the youth to make sure that they have the skill sets and the thinking and the knowledge to think like, okay, there's ways to make money outside of just getting a 9 to 5, right? There's other ways to think about investing, about your future, without just feeling like I just have to go to work and live this life, this safe life, right? This government job, or this, that safe career that most parents want their kids to be in, right? But we don't want, I always told uh, my son is a race mechanic. Is a crew chief for a race team, and that's a very scary field. He ultimately wants to be the driver, right? My son wants to be a driver, and that's something that I would never take away from him because he loves it so much. So I encourage it all the time, as scary as it is. And I tell him that this is a scary field, but I can't imagine and you living any other way. This is what you love, and we need to encourage kids with the ability that with that possibility of, man, anything is possible. Don't think scarcity in any avenue of life, right? So he's 26, 27 now, and he's doing amazing. He's doing amazing, and he thinks that there are opportunities out there. So we want to, the way that we think absolutely impacts our children, because we subconsciously and unconsciously say things that they pick up, that influences them, right? So just like you said, Erica, though, when your mom said that, right, subconsciously that, got in your head somehow, and there's a way that we react to that. So it's shifting that mindset, because if we don't fix it with us, our kids are going to be the same way. We need to really build that generational wealth of not just money, but the generational wealth in mindset. The wealth mindset is critical for our communities. um, Access to opportunities, making sure that we have access to opportunities that are out there, um, you know, that address all of these issues, right? And that's one of the things that I think, not because I'm part of United Latinas, but that's why we're here, right? To really shift this thinking and not just have these conversations, but really have the workshops, have the conversations, have the circles where we talk about this stuff. Because when we hear from one another, we grow, right? And I believe that. And I believe that we learn from one another all of the time. And when we can see someone else's struggle, we can help them, right? And we all evolve in that mindset, right? So having access to opportunities, supporting one another, connecting each other with people that we think would be a great connection for them or a great partnership for them. We need to be more of that. The more that we're giving of that, the more that we are the connectors, the more that we are like, hey, there's an opportunity with this person. I'm not able to do it here. You go do it. I mean, that is a growth mindset. That is shifting that scarcity mindset into that growth mindset. I remember a couple years ago when I first got to Florida, I did. I was teaching some speaking sessions, and there was another. I was in Palm Beach County, and there was another woman out of Broward County, and I had an opportunity to be on the radio. I just reached out again. I reached out, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. I heard a Latino on the radio saying, "Hey, we're looking for more Latino individuals. Come share, your business," kind of thing. And I called them. Right? Squeaky wheel gets the grease, guys. If you want something, all you got to do is call, pick up the phone. Most people don't. So you probably get the opportunities that you want really just by picking up the phone and making that phone call. But I sent her a message and I said, hey, do you want to come with me on this radio spot that I have an opportunity to share my business, but I want you to also share your business, because I really liked her. I really liked her vibe. And I never met her in person, but just from the couple texts that went back and forth. And I saw what she was building out in Broward. And I'm like, do you want to come with me and share, and you take some of my airtime so that you could also share some of your business? And I didn't realize it then, but that is a growth mindset, right? I didn't intentionally think of it that way, but that's what I mean about giving each other and finding opportunities for one another. Is a growth mindset, because the way life works, right? Things that we put out, they have a tendency to come back to us, right? So the more that we're giving, the more that the universe gives, but the more that we're thinking, no one's gonna give to me. I've been giving so much of myself, and no one's gonna give to me. The more that you're gonna be right about that, right? Because it's our energy, and we're responsible for that energy that we are putting out there. Um, Being human isn't easy, right? Monitoring our thoughts. We got to be intentional. We have to have a goal that we're aiming for. Otherwise, we're going to live this life aimless and then with regrets at the end of the day. And we don't want to do that. We want to really live this life to our fullest, really understand the power and potential that we have within us, and think growth mindset, right? Think about what we can do. We are divine beings. We are powerful divine beings. Now, what are we going to do with that? Right? Because we can't allow naysayers or colonialism, to convince us that we are a less than, that we're second class, that we're not worthy of that, not don't have the credentials, don't have this, don't have that, whatever all those that list is. Right? We cannot allow anyone else to tell us that, when the divinity of our very being tells us we are far more complicated and far more powerful, to allow verbiage from other people convince us to think that we are less, and to think in the scarcity mindset, right? um, how you guys doing? All right, so and then the last one, fostering entrepreneurship. right? Fostering entrepreneurship, making sure that we are doing something outside of traditional, right? If these past decade and with COVID and everything, anything has taught us anything, it is that even our finances, how we invest, but also investing in ourselves and making sure that we have other or multiple sources of income that we can have the opportunity to build, right? So thinking about entrepreneurship, thinking about what is it that you can do if you're not already currently doing something, and if you are doing something, um, you know, working to build that, right? How do we continue to build that entrepreneurship mindset so that we think, you know what, there is plenty of space for all of us to thrive, right? There's plenty of space for all of us to win. There is no not winning when you thinking in a positive growth mindset, right? You have to make sure that with intention, your every day is part of that. Man, as an entrepreneur, what do I need to do today to move the ball forward? Right? We don't have to go a mile every single day. There's days that, again, with the ebbs and flows of life, some days you're feeling it, some days you're not. But it is about moving an inch forward, just an inch forward, every single day would be beneficial. Yay, Jolie's on. Get over being uncomfortable. hmm Get over being uncomfortable. Damn, I'm gonna put that on a card. Post that. Get over it. Get over being uncomfortable. You're never going to be comfortable. Our old limiting beliefs will keep us thinking small. Yep. Yeah. If we don't change, nothing's gonna change. Right? Get over it. Right? That's no longer an excuse. It's not no longer a justifiable reason. Like, I'm scared, I don't feel comfortable. Even opportunities to speak, right? Like, even inviting, there was someone, I think last year, on one of the events we did, that was just like, you know didn't want to share specifically at something. And it's like, well, you're feeling uncomfortable, you could sense that. But it's time to get over feeling uncomfortable. Got to get over it. Get over that self-judgment. Get over that, those you're thinking about how people perceive you and not how the gift that you have to give others, right? Get over being uncomfortable, because all of that limited thinking, all of the there's not enoughness, all of that there's not enough money, there's not enough opportunity, there's not enough resources, is not going to move the ball forward for you or your family. So it's time to shift that thinking and own the responsibility that says, you know what, that is no longer relevant to my life and to the legacy that I want to leave going forward, right? It may have come from our past, but now it's up to us to break those chains and really design a life for our kids and our grandkids that is going to be a growth mindset. There is opportunity everywhere, because the moment that our kids and grandkids think less than, there's not enough opportunity, the same, we're just in the same hamster wheel of no progress, right? So it's up to us, it's our literal responsibility to make sure that we wake up, get over being uncomfortable, get over that self-criticism, understand that opportunity is everywhere, and go and pursue the things that we need to do. All right, guys, I'm passionate about this topic. Thank you, Jolie, for bringing this up, this scarcity mindset. We got to do another one. Maybe we'll do a Instagram an Instagram live and kind of take this conversation even further. But guys, that was my cafecito with you. I hope you guys enjoyed a cafecito. Again, make sure that you register for our upcoming events. They're always on our pages. August 17th, public speaking workshop. Do not miss that one at all. And then we have tapping, and then we have a couple others before we get to Hispanic Heritage Month. But then we have our Hispanic Heritage Month event, which is going to be a blast. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed your day. I hope you enjoyed your morning. I hope you enjoyed your cup. And I hope, and I'm just sending out good energy and blessings that all of you just feel abundant, like extra, extra abundant today, right? Feel extra, extra abundant today. Feel the energy of like, man, it's up to me. I can run the world, right? I can run the world. Just thinking that, because ideally you have that power, right? I can do what I can do, not what I can do. I can do more than what I think I can do. Now it's, let me unravel what all of that more is, right? So I hope you enjoy your day. Many blessings to all of you. Have a beautiful, abundant day with some positive energy, positive opportunities that come your way. And yay. And I will see you guys on the next cafecito. All right, guys. Take care, be well, have a blessed one, and see you guys next time.